Zeus was 44 inches tall at the shoulder, big enough to help himself to a drink out of the faucet, and 7 feet 4 inches on his hind legs, dwarfing his owner.
Meet Knickers, a Holstein steer, which is a dairy breed of cattle.
He might be the largest steer in Australia. He stands at 6 feet 4 inches.
Forget everything you think you know about the limits of life. We were taught the age of monsters ended with the dinosaurs, but the evidence says otherwise. With 80% of our oceans still unmapped, we are living on a planet of giants we are only beginning to uncover. Some were filmed just once. Others are so massive they literally broke the equipment meant to track them. From a vanished legendary shark to a beast bigger than a private jet. These are the creatures straight out of nightmares that still share our planet. We're starting at the last place you'd expect to find a giant monster, the backyard. Most of us think of giants as creatures from a prehistoric past, but sometimes even nature breaks its own rules right in our neighborhoods. Number 20. Darius, the Flemish giant. Darius, a continental giant rabbit from the United Kingdom, was no ordinary pet. Stretching an incredible 4 feet and 3 inches long, he was as big as a 7-year-old child and weighed nearly 50 pounds. His daily feast included 2 heads of cabbage, 6 carrots, and a giant bowl of specially crafted grain. Truly a giant appetite for a giant rabbit. But in April 2021, Darius's story took a mysterious and tragic turn. He was stolen from his enclosure overnight.
The world's longest rabbit has gone missing and is thought to have been stolen from its enclosure.
Who disappeared from his home in Stolton in Worcestershire on Saturday night.
Despite an extensive police search and a generous reward, Darius vanished without a trace. His disappearance remains one of the most baffling mysteries in the world of record-breaking animals, leaving many to wonder what really happened to this gentle giant. Number 19. Zeus, the Great Dane. This Great Dane from Michigan stood an impressive 44 inches tall at the shoulder. When he rose onto his hind legs, he reached an astonishing 7 feet 4 inches. That's tall enough to meet a professional basketball player eye to eye. Zeus's owners had to make some lifestyle accommodations to accommodate his massive size. No water bowl needed, since he could even drink straight from the kitchen sink without jumping.
His water bowl is the sink.
Sadly, Great Danes are often called heartbreak breeds because their enormous size puts a lot of strain on their hearts and joints, leading to shorter lifespans. Zeus passed away in 2014 at just 5 years old.
Zeus, the Great Dane with a slobbery mouth and a big heart who held the record for world's tallest dog, has died.
But he remains the ultimate benchmark for canine height. Number 18. Big Jake, the Belgian gelding. Big Jake, a Belgian gelding, towered over 20 hands high. That's nearly 6 feet and 11 inches at the shoulder. Weighing in at a staggering 2,500 pounds.
He's 20 hands, 2 3/4 inches.
About a quarter of an inch short of 6'11", 2,500 pounds.
He resembled a living tank. Belgian horses were bred for raw power, and Big Jake was the ultimate example at the Smoky Hollow farm in Wisconsin. Watching him move was like witnessing a massive piece of machinery in motion. His size demanded custom-built accommodations, from his stall to the trailer designed for his height. To maintain his massive frame, he ate 2 full buckets of grain and 1.5 bales of hay every day. He was the tallest living horse during his lifetime, and the second tallest horse recorded in history. Unlike most horses, known for their agility and speed, Jake was a gentle giant and was famous for being friendly and playful. Before retiring in 2013, he competed in draft horse showing competitions. He lived a full life until 2021, passing away at the age of 20.
The record holder for the tallest horse living has passed away the 28th of June 2021. It is with a heavy heart we share the passing of Big Jake.
To honor him, the Gilbert family has kept his stall empty as a memorial, placing a brick outside with his name and picture. Number 17. Knickers, The steer. Knickers is a famous Holstein Friesian steer from Myallup, Western Australia. In 2018, a photo of a giant black and white cow standing among a herd of much smaller brown cattle went viral. He stood nearly head and shoulders above his herd. His unique name was a joke based on his friendship with another steer named Bra, a Brahman breed. So together, they were Bra and Knickers. His owners never expected him to grow so big. Knickers was 6 feet, 4 inches tall. That's as tall as most basketball players, and weighed over 3,000 pounds. He was so massive that when his owner tried to put him up for auction, meat processors refused to take him because he was too large for the abattoir's machinery and processing chains. Because he was too big to ever fit between 2 burger buns, Knickers was sent back to the farm, where he still spends his days peacefully as a coach for the younger cattle. If these domestic giants blew you away, just wait until we step into the wild. We're leaving behind the fences and barns to dive into the wild, places where a predator's size not only breaks records, but changes the game entirely. These creatures are on a whole new level. Number 16. The Alaskan moose. Most people think of deer as nimble and light, but the moose is a massive exception. The largest subspecies, the Alaska Yukon moose, can stand over 7 feet tall at the shoulder. When you add in a head of antlers that can span 6 feet across, you are looking at an animal that rivals a small truck in size. One of the most famous moose ever filmed was captured by a motorist in Alaska as it casually strolled down a highway median. The footage went viral because the moose literally towered over the SUV in the next lane. These giants can weigh up to 1,800 pounds, and despite their goofy appearance, they are incredibly powerful swimmers, having specialized nose flaps that close to keep water out while submerged, and they can outrun a human through deep snow effortlessly. The Alaskan moose are generally solitary and elusive, although they can be highly aggressive, particularly during the autumn mating season or when a cow is protecting her calf, and are capable of running at speeds up to 35 meters per hour.
They are also strong runners and can reach speeds of up to 35 miles per hour.
Number 15. The Japanese spider crab. The Japanese spider crab is the world's largest living crab. If you have a fear of spiders, this might be your nightmare come to life. These crabs have the largest leg span of any arthropod on Earth, reaching up to 12.5 feet from claw to claw. Even though their central body is only about the size of a basketball, those spindly orange legs allow them to crawl across the ocean floor like a massive underwater spider. They are the gentle, slow-moving scavengers that feed on dead animals, shellfish, and algae. They are also one of the longest-living marine creatures, living up to a century while picking through debris on the sea floor. They look like they belong in a science fiction movie, but are a vital part of the ocean's cleanup crew. In Japan, they are considered a rare delicacy and fished on a commercial scale. To protect the species, fishing is banned during the spring mating season, when they usually migrate to shallow waters to spawn. Number 14. The Chinese salamander. Deep in the muddy rivers of China lives a creature that time forgot. The Chinese giant salamander, the largest amphibian on Earth. These elusive creatures can grow up to 6 feet long and weigh more than 100 pounds. Often called a living fossil, this remarkable animal has changed little in over 170 million years.
Distinct line of salamanders which are 170 million years old, so they are kind of removed from all other salamanders.
In China, it's nicknamed the infant fish because its strange barking and hissing sounds eerily resemble a crying baby. These aquatic creatures live in cold, fast-running mountain streams and rocky crevices. Because of their poor eyesight, they rely on sensory nodes along their bodies to detect vibrations from prey. Without scales, it breathes by absorbing oxygen through its loose, porous skin. During the breeding season, the males become den masters, defending underwater caves where females lay hundreds of eggs for several months until they hatch. It really is an incredible sight. Sadly, these extraordinary giants are going into extinction with each passing year. Number 13. The Kodiak bear. Found only on the islands of the Kodiak archipelago in Alaska, these bears are rivaling the polar bears for the title of the largest living land carnivores in the world. A big male can stand over 10 feet tall on his hind legs.
They get up and they stand up and get their head up 10 feet tall in the air so they can identify what's coming.
And weigh 1,500 pounds. While most bears are solitary creatures, Kodiak bears and their cousins, the grizzly bears, are surprisingly social when food is easy to find. They show a special kind of social behavior, where they turn off their usual aggression to avoid wasting energy on fights. During the annual salmon runs, cameras often capture dozens of these titans fishing together in the same stretch of river. These huge bears stand just a few feet apart, following a strict hierarchy. The biggest males get the best spots, while others use subtle body language, like avoiding eye contact or turning their heads to signal they don't want trouble. Even younger bears have been seen playing together during these times, which is super rare for normally solitary carnivores. The record for the largest Kodiak bear ever seen belongs to a bear named Clyde, who reached over 2,000 pounds. They are the ultimate kings of the North, possessing enough power to move boulders. Despite their reputation, they are opportunistic omnivores and spend a lot of their time eating berries, grasses, and roots. On land, gravity limits how big animals can get, because their bones and muscles have to support all that weight. But in water, the shackles are off, allowing creatures to grow to enormous sizes that would be impossible on solid ground. The ocean really opens up a whole new world for giant animals. Number 12. The leatherback sea turtle. Unlike most turtles that have a hard, bony shell, the leatherback is the largest turtle in the world and fourth heaviest modern reptile, covered in a thick layer of leathery skin embedded with tiny bony plates and oily flesh. They can weigh up to 1,500 pounds and grow to over 7 feet long. Their front flippers are proportionally larger than those of any other sea turtles, sometimes spanning up to 9 feet. They are built to survive deep in the ocean, reaching depths of more than 4,000 feet. But every few years, the females must return to the beaches where they were born to lay their eggs.
And that lets us monitor the environment that the eggs are experiencing while the embryos develop.
Their diet consists mainly of jellyfish. While most reptiles are cold-blooded, leatherbacks have a specialized circulatory system and high body mass that allows them to maintain a warm body temperature even in near-freezing subarctic waters. The largest leatherback ever found was a male found in Wales in 1988, measuring up to 10 feet long and weighing around 2,000 pounds. The leatherback turtle is currently listed as an endangered species globally. Recently, in 2025, milestones were hit in Florida, British Columbia, Canada, and Puerto Rico as incredible footage of nesting sites and hatching events was captured. Seeing one of these prehistoric giants slowly dragging its massive body across the sand really brings home how some ancient creatures have stayed almost unchanged through millions of years. Number 11. The reticulated python. The reticulated python is the world's longest snake and reptile. They are native to the rainforest and wetlands of Southeast Asia, with adults ranging from 3 to 6 meters in length. While they are longer, they are leaner than anacondas. Medusa, a female reticulated python, has been a world record holder for the longest snake ever kept in captivity since 2011. Measuring 25 feet long and 158 pounds, she is a resident of the Edge of Hell haunted house attraction in Kansas City, Missouri. She's become a celebrity, showing people exactly how massive a snake can truly become when it has a steady supply of food. Her diet consists of rabbits, hogs, and deers served every 2 weeks. She can consume an entire deer in a single sitting, an appetite suitable for her massive size. Medusa was so heavy that it took 15 people just to lift her up for her official measurement. In early 2026, A female named the Baroness was verified by Guinness World Records as the longest wild snake formerly measured. Number 10. The northern green anaconda. Deep in the Ecuadorian Amazon, a team of researchers discovered a new species called the northern green anaconda, or Eunectes akiyama. They have claimed the title of the world's largest and heaviest snakes. For decades, we believed there was only one type of green anaconda, but genetic testing proved this new group is a completely different species. The footage of these snakes is absolutely jaw-dropping. They are thick, heavy, and built like a living muscle. While pythons are longer, anacondas are the heavyweight champions because of their incredible girth. Some of the snakes filmed during this expedition were estimated to weigh over 500 pounds. One famous specimen named Ava Julia was as thick as a car tire, with a head the size of a human's. That's incredibly terrifying. They spend most of their time in the water, which supports their massive bodies and allows them to move stealthily with a speed that you wouldn't expect from something as big as a telephone pole. Number 9. Lolong, the saltwater crocodile. Lolong was captured in 2011 in the town of Bunawan, Philippines. He was officially measured at 20 feet, 3 inches long, making him the largest saltwater crocodile ever held in captivity. His capture was a legendary event that took 3 weeks and nearly 100 people to complete. The crocodile was named after Ernesto Lolong Conat, a veteran hunter who led the search but sadly died just days before the capture. For years, villagers had reported a massive crocodile that was attacking livestock and was even suspected of taking human lives. When he was finally hauled out of the water, he weighed over 2,300 pounds, and his head alone was the size of a grown man's torso. Lolong lived in an eco-park until his death in 2013, but you can still see his preserved body on display at the National Museum in Manila. With his passing, the title of the world's largest living captive crocodile returned to Cassius, an 18-foot giant in Australia who is estimated to be over 110 to 121 years old. Sadly, Cassius passed away on the 2nd of November, 2024, leaving the seat for the largest saltwater crocodile in captivity empty. If these reptiles feel like creatures from a lost world, the next group lives in a place even more mysterious. We're leaving the sunny marshes and warm beaches to dive into the midnight zone, a place where the sun never shines and the pressure is strong enough to crush a submarine. In this dark world, the size rules are totally different, and the animals we'll see make those reptiles look tiny. Number 8. The oceanic manta ray. The ocean is so vast and deep that it acts as a massive cradle, allowing creatures to reach dimensions that would be impossible on land. While many people think of rays as small creatures hiding in the sand, the oceanic manta is a flying fortress. These animals are distinguished by their enormous diamond-shaped bodies and their unique black and white patterns. They can have a wingspan of over 23 feet. Their width is roughly equal to 2 cars parked end-to-end or a small private jet, and they weigh about 2,400 kilograms, which is roughly the weight of a large SUV. Watching a ray this size glide over a diver is like watching a living airplane move through the water with effortless grace. Oceanic mantas have the largest brain-to-body ratio compared to any fish, making them highly intelligent and social beings. These gentle giants are also referred to as pelagic rays because they spend most of their lives in the open ocean. They eat tiny zooplankton and use horns called cephalon fins to funnel water and food into their mouths while they swim. Despite their colossal size, they are harmless to humans, often showing extreme curiosity towards divers. Number 7. The giant oarfish. Going even deeper into the darkness, we find the creature that likely inspired the legend of the sea serpent, the giant oarfish. For centuries, sailors told stories of silver monsters weaving through the waves, but it wasn't until recently that high-quality footage finally captured them in their natural habitat.
Take a look at this. This is a massive oarfish just pulled out of the water and hauled away.
These ribbon-like giants are the longest bony fish in the world, reaching lengths of up to 26 feet. Unlike normal fish, they hang vertically in the water column, moving their long dorsal fins to stay still in the current. Despite their monstrous size, they are harmless to humans. They lack teeth and use specialized gill rakers to strain plankton, krill, and even small crustaceans. Seeing an oarfish on camera is incredibly rare because they usually live at depths of over 3,000 feet, called the mesopelagic zone. When they do appear near the surface, it is often a sign of distress, which is why ancient cultures once believed their appearance was a warning of coming earthquakes or tsunamis, and why they were nicknamed the doomsday fish. Number 6. The whale shark. Reaching lengths of 40 feet, this is the largest fish in the ocean and the largest cold-blooded animal alive today. They are often called the living galaxy because of the beautiful white spots and stripes that cover their dark blue skin. In a strange twist of science, researchers actually use the same star mapping technology developed by NASA to track these giants. Since the spot pattern on every whale shark is unique, the software can identify individual sharks just like it identifies constellations in the night sky. This allows scientists to follow their journeys across thousands of miles without ever having to touch them. They have the thickest skin of any animal. These sharks are gentle filter feeders that spend their days slurping up tiny plankton and fish eggs. They grow very slowly and are estimated to live up to 80 to 130 years. Number 5. The sperm whale. This is the largest toothed predator on our planet. Its massive, block-shaped head accounts for a third of its body, and inside is the largest brain of any animal that has ever lived. Adult males can reach 60 feet in length and weigh 45 tons. Just this month, in March 2026, researchers shared incredible footage of a pod of these whales sleeping vertically in the Caribbean, drifting like massive underwater trees. The sperm whale is also the loudest animal in history.
Sperm whales, in fact, which spend quite a lot of their lives in darkness, which means that sound...
It produces clicks that reach 230 decibels, which is much louder than a jet engine taking off. Most believe that these sounds are so powerful they can actually vibrate a human body to death if one is too close. But decibels in water are measured differently than in air. 230 decibels is enough to rupture your eardrums, but might not shatter you unless you are right against the whale's nose. On a famous expedition, a diver put out his hand to stop a whale calf from bumping into him. The calf clicked, and the vibration was so violent it paralyzed the diver's arm for hours. There are other cases of divers being knocked out by the force of a nearby click. They also use these sonic blasts to stun giant squid in the pitch-black water before swallowing them whole. We are now approaching the apex of our list. The animals we've seen so far are impressive, but the last 4 belong in a league of their own. These aren't just animals. They're creatures of nightmares and legends that have haunted sailors for centuries. We're pushing the limits of what biology can do, and the size of what's coming next is almost unbelievable. Number 4. The lion's mane jellyfish. The freezing waters of the North Atlantic and the Arctic is home to the lion's mane jellyfish, often called the ghost of the North.
Dangerous creature in Gloucester. Look at this, a viewer, lion's mane jellyfish.
While most jellyfish are small enough to fit in your hand, this creature is a biological masterpiece. It is the largest known species of jellyfish and holds the record for the longest animal in the world. Its bell can grow to over 7 feet wide, but the real shock comes from its tentacles. These thin, stinging threads can trail behind the jellyfish for an incredible 120 feet. That makes it technically longer than a blue whale. While not usually fatal to humans, their stings can cause severe reactions. Dead jellyfish can still sting for days. In June 2025, an exceptionally large 5-foot-wide jellyfish
5-foot-wide jellyfish was spotted at Willard Beach, which is an exceptionally large specimen for the area.
Washed ashore at Willard Beach in South Portland, Maine. Also in January 2026, a swarm of lion's mane jellyfish washed into Port Phillip Bay, Melbourne, causing beach closures. These massive creatures typically live for only a year. Number 3. The colossal squid. The colossal squid is the heaviest invertebrate on the planet, and for the longest time after its discovery in 1925, we only knew about them from the remains found inside the stomachs of whales. However, the world of marine biology changed forever between late 2025 and early 2026. An international research team working in the South Sandwich Islands on the Schmidt Ocean Institute vessel Falkor managed to capture the first ever footage of a juvenile colossal squid in its natural habitat. This was the holy grail of wildlife filming. Unlike the dark red or purple adults, this juvenile was almost entirely transparent, looking like a glass sculpture with shining, iridescent eyes. On camera, you can see its massive, rotating hooks on its tentacles and eyes the size of soccer balls. Unlike the giant squid, which is long and thin, the colossal squid is built for pure mass. This footage has finally given us a glimpse into how these monsters move and hunt in the crushing depths of the Southern Ocean, proving that the legends of the Kraken were not far from the truth. Number 2. Deep blue, the female great white shark. Deep blue is a female great white shark that was first made famous over a decade ago off the coast of Guadalupe Island. She is estimated to be over 20 feet long and 50 years old.
Deep blue, about 20 feet long, 50 years old, and very pregnant.
Deep blue is more than just a predator. She is a survivor whose body is covered in scars from a lifetime of battles. She is famous for her immense girth, often described as being as wide as a pregnant hippo. She is elusive and often goes years between sightings as she migrates across the Pacific Ocean. However, a mystery has been growing around her recently. In 2025, Deep Blue seemingly disappeared from her usual hunting grounds. For over a year, researchers and divers have been searching for her without luck. Some believe she has moved into deeper, uncharted waters to give birth, as many believe she was pregnant because of her size during her sightings, while others believe she is still roaming the deep because sharks live up to 70 years. Scientists continue to monitor her traditional home at Guadalupe Island, although the area has been closed to commercial shark tourism since 2022 to protect the local ecosystem. Number 1. The blue whale. The blue whale is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, weighing in at over 200 tons and stretching 100 feet long. It is the largest animal to ever exist. The heart of the blue whale is about the size of a small bummer car or a large refrigerator, and their tongues alone weigh as much as an entire elephant. Their mouths are large enough to hold 90 metric tons of food and water, but their throat is only the size of a grapefruit. Despite their size, they eat some of the smallest creatures in the ocean. They are filter feeders. For a brief moment recently, it looked like a prehistoric whale called Peruquitus colossus might take the crown. Fossils found in Peru suggested a creature that could have weighed twice as much as a blue whale. But as we moved into 2026, new scientific studies officially debunked those claims. Scientists realized that the prehistoric whale's bones were much denser and heavier than its actual body would have been. After running the numbers again, they confirmed that the blue whale is still the heaviest animal to ever live on Earth, even bigger than the largest dinosaurs. Watching drone footage of a blue whale surfacing for air is a humbling experience. They are a miracle of nature that we are lucky enough to still have in our oceans today. But why does nature allow such giants to exist in the first place? The answer lies in the physics of life itself. We are moving into our final look at the science behind the size, where we explore how these animals survive and why we might never see anything bigger than the titans we have just witnessed. After seeing those 20 giants on camera, You might wonder why we don't have 100-foot dogs or skyscraper-sized elephants. The answer lies in a simple physics rule called the square cube law. If you double an animal's height, its weight doesn't just double, it actually becomes 8 times heavier. At some point, the animal's bones can't hold that much weight and would break before it could even move. That's why land animals have a size limit. Gravity is always pulling them down. In the ocean, water helps support their weight, which is why the blue whale can grow so huge without collapsing. Without that water support, the biggest creatures would be too heavy to survive. Nature has a curious way of creating giants in isolated places through something called insular gigantism. When a small species finds itself on an island with no predators and plenty of food, it often evolves to become much bigger than its relatives on the mainland. That's how we get 6-foot salamanders and huge tortoises without any threats. Being big helps them store more energy and control their small territory. It's like the island becomes a special lab where the usual size rules don't apply. But being a giant also comes with big risks. These animals need huge amounts of food and large, untouched wilderness areas to survive. They also tend to grow slowly and have very few offspring. This makes them incredibly vulnerable to changes in their environment. When a habitat is destroyed or the climate shifts, the biggest animals are almost always the first to vanish. They cannot simply hide or adapt as quickly as smaller animals can. Many of the giants we have looked at today are currently facing an uncertain future, from the great white shark to the blue whale. These massive beings are the canaries in the coal mine for our planet. From the sunlit surface to the crushing abyss, these 20 titans prove that our world is still a place of wonder. Those giants aren't just cool to see. They're proof that our world is full of real-life monsters. If you could meet any of these gigantic creatures, which would it be? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, click on the next video on your screen. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries.